Good evening, everybody. I would like to call to order the council meeting for Tuesday, September 2nd. Will we please have a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Secretary, could I please have a roll call?
Yes. Dustin Queenan.
Here.
William McCoy. Adira Robinson.
Here.
Jasmine Griffin.
Here.
Natalie Colson.
Here.
Rashaad Bates. Rebecca Smith.
Here.
William. Rashaad's on here.
And Councilman McCoy is present now. Councilman Queenan is going to lead us in announcements tonight.
Okay, does anybody have any announcements?
Councilwoman Robinson.
Just a quick, not really an announcement, but more of an acknowledgement. Small community, so I think it's important to shine light where and when we can. And in this space, I'd like to do so. First, I'd like to just acknowledge our council president today for her birthday, and just acknowledge happy birthday to you. I think we are a community built of neighbors, so we should acknowledge each other when we can. I also would like to send condolences to the family of Juan Fontanez, a beloved Norristown community member who has recently transitioned and is no longer with us. Known as a gentle giant in this community and has helped many, I just wanted to take a moment to honor him and speak up of him as someone who he has helped along the way. I think many can attest to that. And if you didn't know Juan, you missed out. But for those who did know him, I just wanted to honor him in this moment and just acknowledge him and his family and just let you know that our thoughts, our prayers, and our condolences are with you all.
Does any other member of council have any announcements this evening? I have a couple. First off, since Councilwoman Robinson pointed out my birthday, I'd like to point out that I have a birthday twin in the audience. We have Jim Waters, who comes to every single council meeting. Is also spending his birthday with us, celebrating the big 8-0, right? Sorry. Water Ice with a Cop has had some new dates added. September 3rd, tomorrow at Marshall and Cone Streets, and September 4th at Halls and Elm Streets at 5 p.m. Norristown Rec Fall Winter Basketball League is currently in registration. Evaluations start September 15th and 16th, and the league starts on September 29th. Our last summer concert series is on Sunday, September 7th at 7 p.m. Will be a back-to-school party with Rotation Records. And Norristown Fire Department will be having an open house for you to bring the whole family on October 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Montgomery Hose Fire Company. Next up, we have response to questions during the last council meeting.
Thank you, Madam President, and council members and the public. So we do have a question that we overlooked at the previous council member that came from Laura Smith, and she doesn't understand why there's an issue with having block parties. So we're going to go through this a little bit. So the block parties in Norristown are not prohibited, but they are regulated by the ordinance to ensure public safety, equitable access, and accountability. The municipality does require residents to have an application. They must apply for a permit. That's essential for the services that they're going to need, such as police, EMS, fire, and public works. And for us to have this, we need to be aware of what's going on in there so we can maintain safety and security for the public. So there are a couple of things we look at when we get this. We look at traffic and emergency access. Closing a street without proper authorization can delay in emergency vehicles and disrupt critical traffic patterns. The ordinance also requires us for approval to make sure emergency access is always preserved. This requires coordination not only with Public Works, EMS, fire, police, but also with PennDOT, American Water, and PECO. The other thing we look at as well is public safety and liability. What the permit does, it allows us for the municipality to confirm proper safety measures, such as barricades, insurance coverage, when applicable, and noise and crowd management. We also want to look at equity and oversight. This is the ordinance, in the ordinance, this also ensures that neighborhoods follow the same process, preventing disruption or disputes about fairness and favoritism. The municipality also looks at its resources that we have that are available at the time. We look at the events often that require support from police, EMS, fire, public works, and also it includes, when we do this, that it also requires us to have setup, cleanup, and traffic control. So the permitting process is there to ensure that, again, it's equitable, safe for the community. So the issue is not about us not wanting block parties or having block parties in themselves. We welcome the opportunity for block parties. We want block parties to happen within the community, but it's rather to balance the community so we can make sure, again, safety, fairness, and municipal responsibilities are outlined according to the charter and the code. We also had a question about boards, committees, and anyone that's interested in serving. Kevin, can you pull that up for me? So anyone that's interested in serving on a board, a committee, the process is as follows. One, you go to the Norristown website, www.norristown.org. You click on government and you click on boards and committees. In here, there's a list of committees and boards which are listed on the left-hand side. If you click on the desired board or committee you're interested in, it will display the following for you. Go down there. Thank you, Kevin. It tells you about the agenda. It tells you the responsibilities, the membership requirements, and the general code with formal description of the committee is detailed on there as well. If you click on there in the general code, you don't have to click on it, Kevin, but down there, right there, the general code, you click on that, that tells you more details about the board and committee and what the requirements are. Once you decide what board you want to serve on, you can click on the application. There's an application on here. If you scroll down to there, you click on the application, complete the application for the board or the board that you would like to participate in. What we ask for is a complete application. We also ask for a resume. You can email it. You can drop it off. And at the bottom of this form, right below the signature line, there it outlines where to send it to and who to email it to. Once we receive that, that comes to the administration office. Once the administration office has this application along with the resume, what we do is verify the completeness of the application. We review the resume. We email this to council as a whole. Once we verify that the application and the applicant fit the requirements for that particular board or committee that they're applying for. Once we verify that again, then we email that over to the council as a whole. Council as a whole has an opportunity to look at it, review it, and make, if there's any questions they have, they will send the questions to us and we will try to get those questions answered. Council also reserves the right to contact the applicant and ask them questions that they may have themselves and get further details about the application or the applicant. Once that's done, we will, within the next 30 days after applications are sent to council, we will then add it to the agenda for council to make a decision. If you have any questions about boards or committees, it's clearly outlined on the website, or you're more than welcome to call us and we can walk you through that process. The next question that came up was about handicap parking signs. Every council meeting, we always have some type of question about parking. Right now, the handicap parking in certain areas, it is at maximum capacity on certain blocks where there's no room for additional handicap parking placards. So based on our records and ongoing discussions, we're looking at the ordinance, we're looking at the handicap parking, which coincides with the parking ordinance itself. We're working currently with council to come up with some type of solution and present that to the community. Those are the questions that came up. That's the completion of the questions that were asked.
Thank you. I'm going to skip back in the agenda. I forgot to seek a motion to approve the minutes from our previous meeting. So is there a motion to approve our last meeting's minutes.
So move.
All in favor? Aye. Madam Secretary, is there any public comment this evening?
Yes, Jim Waters.
There's a lot of concern about the car accidents at Selma and West Airy Street. And I posted suggestions on Nextdoor where you should trim the trees so you can see the stop sign, and you get the paint out there for the crosswalk, stop bar, and the stop word. In fact, actually what I did on Nextdoor was I took a picture of an intersection the way it should be. So I think we really need, even just for the children going to school, is that we need these crosswalks so you can see them. Because there seems to be some really bad erratic driving that I worry about the children. And you don't want to make me crazy is you have somebody run over a child. And all right, we got that done with. I left for you some information, Madam President and our manager. The USGS question that I had a while ago was to why the flood gauges were turned off in 1933. Once we find that out, then we can be able to nail to the wall why we're having this unprecedented flooding. Now, also included with the paperwork was the job that the Montgomery County Conservation District does. Now, you know, I said previously that I believe the 6 upstream municipalities' uncontrolled stormwater is what caused a lot of damage to Elmwood Park. And you know, I have the brochures. I mean, you can see exactly what it says. And because of the article, the Foul State of Pennsylvania Waterways Integrated Water Report to the federal government, documents that our streams in Montgomery County are 75% impaired. And that has to do with aquatic life, recreation, and water supply. Now, my problem with the water supply is it's costing us a lot of money to have the mud removed that's coming downstream from these 6 municipalities and farther up. What I've been after basically, and I believe I have the documentation because the Conservation District gave me some beautiful, fantastic information. All I had to do was say Freedom of Information Act. So I got all the documentation, I think, to send a letter to the Attorney General because I think this is an environmental crime. Now, another environmental crime is the economics. You see Erie Canal, all right, the Erie Canal and the Schuylkill Canal competition.
Thank you, Mr. Waters.
The Norristown Dam was built 1812. So did Norristown come into existence. So because the canal
Thank you.
was destroyed by the coal mining, I think that basically the coal mining owe us money. If we have our money, we can expect to have every ton of coal. I'm going to find out where that money is. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Taryn Kumar.
Good evening, council members. My name is Taran Kanwar, and I live on the 1500 block of Stanbridge Street. Happy birthday, by the way. I'm here tonight on behalf of my neighbors, both on the 14 and 1500 blocks, to talk about an issue that affects our community every single day: the condition of the shared alley that runs between our houses and the Laura Lane apartments. This alley spans 2 blocks and has become difficult to pass through because of the number and size of potholes. It's not just a nuisance, it's a safety and quality of life issue. Cars are being damaged, the problem gets worse after heavy rains or snow when potholes disappear, and honestly, it's an eyesore. On top of that, this alley is used by sanitation trucks, which puts even more strain on a road that hasn't been properly maintained in years. This isn't just one person's problem, it's a shared street. It serves homeowners, renters, families, delivery services, our neighbors in the Laura Lane apartments, and the township itself through waste collection. That's why it needs to be treated as part of the township's responsibility, just like any other street Norristown residents rely on every day. To show how, that didn't work. To show how important this is to us, I went door to door and collected signatures from my neighbors. Over 75% of the households on our 2 blocks signed on in support of this request. And here are the signatures that this is from 2024. We don't expect miracles, but we do believe this road deserves the same attention that other parts of Norristown are receiving. I want to acknowledge that there's exciting development happening in our community, the sale of the state hospital property, new projects near and within the zoo, and other investments that show Norristown is indeed moving forward. But as that growth happens, we can't leave behind the existing neighborhoods that have been here all along, the early adopters of Norristown, if you will. Our community deserves safe, functional streets too, not just in the new areas that will attract outside investment. What we're asking is simple. Please include our alley in the township's regular paving schedule, even if it's just once every few years. That basic level of maintenance would make a huge difference for everyone who lives here, would cost far less to maintain than to wait until it's deteriorated, that it needs a full rebuild, and it would show that the township values all of its residents, longtime neighbors and newcomers alike. We've done our part by organizing, signing, and showing up here tonight. Now we're asking you to do yours. Be the leader. Thank you for your time. Thanks.
Tiffany Todd.
Good evening. I'm here to address the August 19th response to this August 2nd public comment question regarding parking at the Human Services Building. So a little frustrated. I wasn't here at the August 19th meeting. So a little frustrated when I went back and I watched it because the response didn't address anything that we had asked. And maybe it's just because people aren't familiar with the area. I'm not sure. But we specifically mentioned the parking lot, which is on DeKalb Street, the 1500 block of DeKalb Street. But the response repeatedly brought up the parking garage, which had nothing to do with what we were talking about. I know the parking garage is on Fornance Street, and Fornance Street does absolutely have a huge parking problem. The same issues that we brought up at the August 2nd meeting with unpermitted parkers or cars being parked there all day long during business hours instead of the 2-hour parking that is restricted there. We didn't ask for the borough or parking enforcement to enforce or monitor the lots. We didn't ask that at all. The borough doesn't own those lots. So we just asked that you guys, maybe somebody, approach the landlord and say, hey, can you open up your lots to all the people that work in your building day in and day out that are taking up all of the parking for 8.5 to 9 hours at a time, where it is 2-hour permitted parking. So, like I said, I felt like we weren't heard because none of the areas that we asked about were addressed. And as a Norristown resident of 25 years, it's frustrating to feel like you're not heard. And I know that a lot of people in Norristown feel that they are not heard. So I just wanted to bring that up, that the response back had nothing to do with the area that we were talking about. Thank you.
Yvonne Platts.
Good evening. I'd like to just follow up on the situation that happened at August 19th when it was a vote for what they call those things, the tag readers, license plates readers. And just watching that and listening, I had 1,000 questions where I thought it was just a bad idea. Councilwoman Robertson, you spoke very eloquently about your decision. Mr. Dustin, you spoke very eloquently about your wavering and the no. And I guess I kind of wonder, isn't there an opportunity when things are presented I think we had this before, where we still, residents are allowed to say something? I guess that's the question, because there was a lot of comments that should have, more information should have been mentioned about that. Because that, as a resident, y'all buying title readers, license plates reader, I do not see how that's gonna fix the parking problem on the streets. Because you read it, you send them a ticket, however long before they get the ticket, before they move the car, or even if you gotta put a boot on the thing, that's still parking in the spot. In the meantime, neighbors on fixed incomes might miss their day on their registration and be late for a couple weeks or whatever. Now they gonna end around and get tickets. So I really want to understand how decisions are made just on the spur. And aren't there times, I think, that you settle or don't make decisions and think about it and come back some more? And I kind of want to, even some of these fast yes responses, can people give their responses onto why they think that it's a good idea? Particularly when y'all decisions up here as representatives of our community impact us. And so I think if y'all don't ask all the right questions or enough questions, that we should still get the right to ask questions as residents that we think need to be asked on the situations. Because really, just doing some private investigating on my own helped me figure out my parking problems in my neighborhood, or why certain cars were there all day, every day. And then I went to the owners who I thought about it. So that was some of the stuff on their own, but I don't think the license plate reader is going to help. And that whole decision-making process was really hurtful to even watch. So that's my comment. How can we, as residents, utilize that process for asking questions when presentations are made, for one? And y'all holding out maybe on votes sometimes and going back and reconsidering, having more discussion amongst yourselves.
Melvin Faust.
Evening, Council. I was here at the last meeting, and I'm one of the guys that lives right on the 1200 block of West Area, where the accident was that killed the guy on a motorcycle back in July. I think I posed a question at that time: who has the right of way to Erie Street? Is it the borough or is it Harrisburg? Because again, there's no lights, there's no stop sign, there's no flashing yellow or anything to slow down the cars on Erie Street. Right after that accident, there were a couple more accidents that occurred. Children are getting ready to go back to school. As a matter of fact, they're back in the school right now. More kids are coming. Now, I don't know what happened or who had the idea the week before last, but the lanes in the middle of the street, the white lines in the middle of the street, they were painted white. But then the box on Selma Street and Hamilton, those boxes are not painted at all. So those kids, they have no idea what's getting ready to happen. So again, who has that ownership? Is it the borough or is it the state of Pennsylvania that has that? On Main Street, 1217, 1219 Main Street, right across from the CVS. People or residents, they have made a garage in the back of their house. Now they're repairing cars. It's like a Pet Boys. Now my backyard faces theirs, and it's got to be some type of code regulation or some type of L&I situation that they tore down their branches and everything, took down the fence. We had that small alley because I'm right here at Hamilton Hall, and we have just that really small alley, Bunts Alley, I believe it is. It's only just, you can't even get anything back there, but they drive back there and they repair cars. That can't be legal. So I wouldn't think that anybody else that would want to see that every day, there's somebody repairing cars back there. It's just not right. I don't think that's fair at all. And then, do you guys walk the neighborhoods, your districts? Because again, you guys reserve or represent us. I think you guys need to be out there to be more visible so people can know exactly who you are. I'm recognizing you guys now because I'm starting to make myself visible here, but I think for you guys to get out here in your neighborhoods, into your districts, see what's happening in your districts and really, really do what you guys said that you wanted to do. This is why you guys had put yourselves up here, to be representatives of us. So I would appreciate if you guys would come out to our communities, or to your communities, to your districts, see what's going on, help your people. Let's get this town back to where it should be. That's all I have. Thanks.
Bonna, B-O-N-N-A? Benna, sorry.
Okay, well, I wasn't speaking, I'm sorry, I wasn't speaking on this stuff. I was speaking on behalf of, Rob.
Come on up.
I'm sorry, this is my first time.
You're good. You look amazing, man.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I am Rob Hill's mother, and I'm born and raised in Norristown. And to know me is to know him. To know my son is to know me. You have to excuse me. This is my first time speaking in a long time. So, he was well known in Norristown, throughout Norristown. He was very athletic, and he has passed away on the basketball court. And I appreciate what you guys are doing with the park. So with that being said, I just hope that we can move forward into making us all proud, because we are one and we stand together, and he's still making me proud. Okay.
You got it. Good job.
Thank you.
Representative Scott?
Good evening and happy birthday again, Madam President. Sorry I missed that one. I normally call all my constituents on their birthday, and I apologize. But it's still your birthday, so happy birthday. Yes, to the rest of the members of council and to members of our community. My name is Greg Scott, and tonight I rise not only to honor one young man, but to speak for an entire community of families who face a devastating loss. On Sunday, October 19th, 2003, my friend and classmate, Rob Hill, collapsed while playing basketball with friends at Simmons Park. He was just 17 years old, a week shy of his 18th birthday, and a junior at Norristown Area High School. His death was sudden and shocking, the result of an undiagnosed heart condition called cardiomyopathy. In an instant, his life was taken, and his mother, Benna, who just courageously stood up here, lost her one and only child. But Rob was more than just a tragedy. He was a good kid. He rejected the street life. He didn't drink. He didn't sell drugs. He simply wanted to play ball and make his mom proud. Rob's story deserves to be remembered, not just for how he died, Councilman, but for how he lived. That's why I'm asking you to approve a plaque at Simmons Park, where Rob spent so many joyful hours playing the game he loved. A permanent reminder of a life lived with integrity and promise. I'm also asking you to approve the installation of an AED machine at the court, because it's not enough that we remember, we must also act. Rob's story is not the only one. We cannot forget Makai Green, who passed away on January 30th, 2023, just shy of his 19th birthday, nor can we forget Quentin Darnell Watson III, who was only 16 when he died on August 18th, 2022, both at the Norristown Recreation Center in the 3rd Councilmatic District. These were sons, friends, and students, full of life, full of potential, gone far too soon from similar undetected heart conditions. That's why every year in office, I've held a heart screening event in Norristown. To all the Norristown parents who have buried their children under these tragic circumstances, we see you, we honor your pain, and we carry your children's memories forward. Let this plaque and the AED machine be part of a larger effort to protect our youth. And I urge every parent, when you take your kid to the doctor, ask for a heart screening, get an EKG, and I encourage everyone to watch a video on how to use an AED. These small actions can save lives. Finally, I want to thank Brianna Coleman, the director of the Park and Recreation Department, who took initiative in the 3rd Council District to make sure that we secured an AED and have it readily available at the Recreation Center. I want to thank Chief O'Donnell for his help in this, and last but certainly not least, Councilwoman Natalie Colson for stepping forward with compassion and leadership. When I first shared her story with Rob's story with her and connected her with Bennett, she did what any forward-thinking person would do. She said, how can we tell his story and how can we prevent this from happening again? Let's take this step together to honor Rob, Mackay, and Quentin and all the lives lost to protect those still with us. Thank you for your time. I expect an affirmative vote from everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Scott. With that timing, up next, we have resolution number 25-74, the request for municipal council to authorize a commemorative plaque at Simmons Park in memory of Robert Rob Hill. Mr. Leitner.
Thank you, Madam President. So tonight we have before you a resolution to honor the memory of Robert Hill, a young man of Norristown who played basketball, who passed away at the age of 17, as you already heard, of a heart attack in October 2003 while playing at Simmons Park. So we're asking you, as part of our commitment to both remembrance and public safety, this resolution is authorized as a placement of a commemorative plaque at Simmons Park in his honor. The plaque will be dedicated in conjunction with installing an AED machine or AED stand that can house an AED machine. The dedication ceremony is scheduled for October 18, 2025. This action allows for us to recognize Rob Hill, his family, his legacy, and also about preserving life and safety and resources within the community.
Thank you. Council, do you have any questions or comments? Councilwoman Robinson.
I just have a comment in that I think that this is a story well overdue and well deserving of being told. This is, I know we have ways in which we honor, ways in which we call people and how we acknowledge them. This to me is amongst one of our hero stories. This is a beautiful life that has left a lasting impact for many years, and it feels late in the game almost to get here, but it feels also very special and wonderful to be here. And just to you, Benna, you know that we love you and we support. I'm excited for you and for this moment. And I just want to acknowledge all those that had a hand in getting it done. And I just encourage us as a community, let's take care of each other. And care can also be done in the process by also being communicative, by also being clear and bringing people into the process so that they can understand how they can support and how that they can show up. And so I think care goes on all the sides, right? How we lift a legacy and how we hold it together matter. And so I just hope that as we move this forward, we do it with joy because we get to celebrate in this moment. And we'll get to the point where we have our votes, but it's a big yes from me. I'm super excited about this. And Bennett, we've already talked some about this. Whatever I can do to support, you know you have my support.
No, I have questions.
Councilman Queenan.
I wish we had these. I had a couple of questions I asked, and I wish they were probably, we got a discussion not on the floor, just for clarity for you, Benna. I want it to be a smooth process. But there are some outstanding questions that were asked and was kind of never answered. But I guess we have to do it here because we have to vote here. How are we proposing to secure the AED? Because we want to protect our kids, but if kids get it, they literally can kill themselves with it. So what, if someone can tell us how we're going to secure that so our kids can't get access to that?
So there will be an AED stand there in the park mounted. It will also have an alarm on it. But the intent is not to keep the the AED itself in there unless there's tournaments, events, or major activities that are happening there. We have a concern that if we do leave it in there, it could grow legs and walk away. But as of now, the plan is that they will only be placed in there during major events.
Okay. Because currently, do some of our police officers have AEDs in their vehicles or no? Okay. That's all right. So we're going to build a station there, correct?
Yes, it comes pre-made, it's just gonna be mounted there, yes.
All right.
If I can just add, most modern AEDs also will not shock unless they detect an irregular heart rhythm.
Is that the one we're getting?
Those are the ones we have, yes.
I mean, but we were purchasing a new one.
We already have them.
Oh, so we're not purchasing, okay.
And it's maintained at Park and Recreation, and Park and Recreation will be responsible that when the park permit comes through and we know what's happening, they will make sure it's placed inside the
Right.
AD
And
stand.
when we do have an event, we're going to have someone there that's trained on how to use it when we do put it out there?
We normally have, if there's an event there, there's normally some staff support there.
Right. But okay, so that's a yes, right?
Yes.
Okay. Another question that some people have asked me, I don't have the answer to it. What is the process if people want to have a plaque there themselves for their loved ones?
So that's a good question. According to the ordinance, there's not a policy or a process in place. Now that this has taken place, there has been a policy drafted. It's going to be going to legal for review to look at the policy, and we will get that to you guys shortly. But sometimes these things happen, like there's things that take place that we realize there's no policy in place, no policy or procedure. And when the ordinance is silent on it,
All right, but right now, there's no policy or anything of that nature.
and the
Okay.
ordinance is silent on it.
Right. And that was one of the questions I asked that I wish we'd had a discussion with, so when we came out, we could tell everybody, here's the process. Because, and strictly for fairness for families, because there's, other families out there that would love to do the same thing. And I want to be, fair to every single family that has a loved one that they've lost. But right now, the process, we haven't discussed it, of course. All right. And that was one of my
Councilman
big...
Queen, Councilman Queen, I was asked by Councilor Colson to look into the issue, and I know Councilor Colson and the municipal administrator consulted about this. In many other townships and in Norristown in the past, something like an AED would be more an administrative decision, something that the municipal administrator would do. As far as a plaque or anything, as far as naming on public land, it didn't, as the administrator said, it didn't really say. So when that was brought to me, not that anybody did anything obviously inappropriate or wrong, they were just trying to do the right thing for this family.
Right.
I just said in an abundance of caution, absent a policy, which we're drafting now in that regard, we just bring it to council and have the approval so there's no question. So that was the legal advice.
Right, so-
And the area was gray on that. So in a gray area as a lawyer, we're taught not to take risks, right? So it's come to council, get the approval, and that's it. Not to say anybody did anything inappropriate.
No, and that's not being suggested. I just wish we had had the conversation so when other families come, because there's a lot of things we do have to discuss about it. Because one of the questions is what the plaque gonna look like, how many plaques we're gonna allow there. Should we use an interchangeable plaque, like give people certain times? There's still a big discussion that needs to be held around that, if you ask me. And that's why I wish we would have did that behind closed doors versus coming to the floor. And I attempted to try to have those conversations to no avail, unfortunately. Because like I said, I just want to make sure fairness to all the families in Norristown that wish to do something like that.
Let me just say something, because I just want to make it very...
Councilwoman Griffin?
Yeah, I just want to make it very plainly clear. No one's saying this shouldn't happen. What we're saying is people have asked questions, and it's continuous, and we don't get answers. And we're trying to ensure that this does run smoothly, because it would hurt for you to do it, and then because of someone not answering a question or us not ensuring that something ran smoothly, something would have to be pulled out or anything, because that would be horrible for you to have to go through. So that's what we're just trying to ensure, and people were not answering questions. And I just want to make that plainly clear, that questions were being asked and no one was answering. So this is why the questions are being asked now, because we tried to ask them previously to coming to the floor, and now they're coming up. And it shouldn't be that we're asking questions to ensure that your day runs smooth, that everything's good, because he does deserve it, because I grew up hearing about it. You deserve it and he deserves it. So you want to make sure everything runs smoothly. But everyone should have the correct, accurate information, and everyone should be having that information. So that's what's happening right now. I just want to make that clear.
Councilwoman Robinson?
I believe that questions and answers are important, and a dialogue has to happen. I also believe as council, and this is more to my colleagues, that we have to understand what it is to be flexible when a precedent is being set. And fairness also means getting started. Fairness also means making something happen. It is more than fair to honor this young man, and it is more than fair to understand and build the process as we go, because we've never been here before. There is nothing lost. There is nothing taken away. This is not an attempt in any way to diminish anyone's legacy by lifting up another, but it is a beginning, and I think beginnings are well overdue in this community. Many people have contributed to the work of upbuilding this community and being a light here, and while I respect all of our questions, what I want to encourage us to do is to not use them in a weaponized way to try to hold or attack, but also to continue to have more conversations. Please allow me to speak. Please allow me to speak. Please allow the time for more
Councilman Queen, stop. Councilman Queen.
when conversation can't be had and when you're
gotta
overridden like this,
Councilman
because I
Queen.
wanted to acknowledge and also respect that I also had questions in regards to this process and how it was going along. And I reached out to those who were coordinating it. I reached out to get further information. I did not experience an affront of no questions answered. So I just want to honor that for myself. So I'm speaking solely for myself.
Excuse me,
And I want
Councilwoman
us to
Queen.
understand what it is to work as the colleagues, because to take a moment like this and to turn it into something bigger feels wrong.
Well, I
It feels
guess you
inappropriate to
just
the
missed
legacy.
totally
And so
what I
wanna
said.
be
I
able to
asked questions no one
Councilman
answered.
Queenan.
Councilman
I would like to
Robinson, let
acknowledge
you.
is the greatness of what's happening.
Councilman Queenan. Councilman Robinson let you give your remarks without interruption. I would ask that you do the same to her.
But I'm saying, it's totally being miscalculated. The lady just made a statement, and you said she weaponized it. Like, can we be, what reality are we in right now? No. That's attacking, that's not speaking.
No,
one
Councilwoman
attacking.
Robinson, you had the floor. Would you
Just hold it.
like to continue?
I want us to carry each other with care and respect in how we do it. And I want us to make dialogue that actually means we want to have that conversation. I am available to have those conversations as your councilwoman. I can assure you I am having those conversations as your councilwoman. Maybe I will not bring everything when it all goes wrong or goes awry, but I hope that we are all, and I believe all of our colleagues have the hope to work towards the greater good. But I do want to just acknowledge I had questions to some extent. I reached out and was able to get those questions answered, and still have always felt that this is a good opportunity and a right opportunity. And while there may be no precedence for it, this is the beginning, and this is how things start, by starting.
Is to have discussions. Ms. Platts, exactly to what you said before, work sessions are used for that, which we have not been doing. So part of the responsibility of council is to have these discussions for your benefit, because I was on the call where I said, hey, listen, Natalie's new. She didn't even know that we had to bring this to the council. I was the one that directed to her to bring it to the council so there would be no hiccups. So therefore, I was trying to resolve this issue, which I knew would be an issue, behind closed doors, so there would be no hiccups in how you wanted to honor your son. Those questions were ignored in the back end. And I attempted more than once to have these questions. I'm council. I shouldn't have, if you're going to put municipality name on there, that's all a council. We're not just one individual. We're supposed to work together and talk about these issues, hash them out, come up with policies and procedures and ordinances so we can have order within Norristown. It's that simple. The problem with it is, unfortunately, some people even stated in the paper, you can see there's a divide. I'm a rules type of guy. Let's follow the rules. I know you're not, because I was endorsing you, didn't put me nowhere. So,
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
it wasn't, man,
Can we,
Yeah.
Ms. Benna, Ms. Benna, I respectfully know that you're being called out here, but typically we don't seek participation from the public. Councilman Queenan, you have suggested here that you wanted from that meeting for this to come to council and for guidance from our solicitor. We have guidance from our solicitor, and it has come to council.
It was more than that, Rebecca. It wasn't just that. And I'm not the only councilman person here who doesn't know from A to Z. That's why I was trying to, it wasn't just for my benefit, it's all council. We should be having conversations. So, and I should not have to run around when I'm talking to a council person that's part of this. You have the state rep that's part of it. And I ask questions, other people want to know questions. It's not the way it's supposed to work.
Councilman Queenan.
Go ahead, McCoy.
I was about to say, this is a discussion that can continue in an executive session, not right here. We have so much stuff to get to on the agenda.
Yeah, can I
Like, we can continue this conversation in the executive session, right?
It's not appropriate for executive session to deal with personnel, litigation, or real estate.
Right. Okay, can
Thank you for
I say
that.
something real quick? I just want to say, because I feel like Councilwoman Robinson might have took what I said completely out of context. I never said it wasn't important. In fact, I just stated that it was. I never said anything of that nature, and I didn't try to weaponize anything. Let me make that very plainly clear. All I said was, people asked questions and they were not answered. We have to ask the questions. We have to know. That's all I said. I think you would want us to ask questions and have the answers. I feel like everyone's supposed to have information. I feel like we are a 7-member council. If only 3 people have the information and people have asked for information, why should only 3 people constantly have it? If people are reaching out all over, that's all I'm saying. I don't have any issue with this. I'm gonna need for people to stop trying to make a grandstand and try to put people under the bus, because we're supposed to all want what's good for this town. I know I do. I'm making sure that everything is gonna go smooth, because it's horrible to have something ripped away from you twice. No, that's all I'm saying. I'm not weaponizing anything.
Ms. Benna? We've just said that we're not taking comment from the public at this time, so thank you. But with that, Ms. Benna, I am really sorry that you came here and spoke bravely about the memory of your son and the loss of your son, and that is getting weaponized into about the process. You will have when it comes to a vote, you will have my wholehearted support on this vote, because I don't believe the absence of a process here should preclude you from the fairness of getting what you've advocated for here. As you know, that we have seen process and a resolution for approval by council, guidance from our solicitor, and a process for others in place. And so I think we've covered the major elements that people keep holding over you, the taken away aspect, and that once this is approved by council, I'll ask our solicitor for clarification, but it won't just get taken away. And so I am sorry that process is being used to somehow insinuate that in the lack of a process, this will be taken away. That's not the case here, because the process has been followed and legal guidance has been.
The reason why we're having this vote, like I said, nobody has done anything inappropriate here. I mentioned that before. The reason why, as a lawyer, I recommended as the town, as the municipal solicitor, is because there was no clear process. And the process is always council, right? You have the legislative function, you have the ultimate say on these things. So that's why I recommended that it be on the agenda, so then it's clear. And as you heard from the municipal administrator, he's putting forward a policy, so we'll have more clear guidance going forward on these issues. And that policy can be debated among council if they want to debate that policy or make changes or whatever. But absent any clear guidance in a gray area, that's why I recommended that this resolution be on the agenda.
Hence why I asked certain questions almost 2 months ago. make sure once she gets your, acknowledgement of your son that you love dearly, that others could follow behind you and get the same thing. So that's why I was trying to get the clarity, like I said almost 2 months ago. That's why I brought it up in your meeting, so she could bring it to his council, so there wouldn't be no hiccups like a week or a day before. And like Ms. Griffin said, that get yanked from you. I just want to make sure that other families could have a pathway as well, because right now, there is no other pathway for any family to do such at this time. So, and that's my thing, it's just, we got, council, we're supposed to make sure we're fair to everybody, every family, and we're supposed to have order and have things in place. We had over 2 months, so it's not something that just popped up.
And I just wanted to add in real quick. So during the process, when this was brought to my attention and I met, and I heard the story of Miss Benna, I honestly did not think that we needed to vote on this because it was not a renaming of the park. It was simply a dedication to Rob Hill. So with that being said, I went and did something in my district, the 4th district, that I felt was right, and I felt as though it needed to be done. And meeting Miss Benna and hearing her story and working with her and talking with her all the time, it's very near and dear to my heart because she is very near and dear to my heart. And so that is why we're here, and that's why it was, I talked to legal about it, and now here we are. But my intent was never an ill intent to not have, to bring council in or not to include them in it. So I just hope you know that that was never an intent of mine to not include the questions that were asked. I did not have the answers to with the AED, so that's one of the reasons why you didn't get the answers that you were looking for. But, this was a new process, and that's why, we're here with this, so I just wanted to kind of clear that up.
So, since we're on the phone, how do we install it into the ground? The plaque? It's not zero
The
information.
plaque is not going to be installed in the ground. The plaque will be mounted on a stand. The stand itself will be mounted in the ground, correct?
Public Works will do that?
Yes, Public Works will do that. Same with the AED machine.
And I'm just curious, will it be a permanent or will it be interchangeable if we don't put other stands there, that if other people have loved ones that want to be recognize their loved ones as well? Or is it, if someone else come along, will we be putting stands for each individual?
The stand is permanent.
So they'll have to have their own stand, right? How much space does the stand take up?
The plaque itself is 20 by 14, so it's a small plaque. The stand itself is less than 6 inches
And will Public Works
in
maintain
diameter.
the plaque? Maintain, cleaning, making sure that it's okay?
Just like they do with the regular Simmons Park sign, and we're getting the park rules and regulations signs replaced. Due to this, we're upgrading the signs, rules, and regulations. We're also updating the Simmons Park sign itself. So this unfortunate situation has turned into an opportunity to upgrade the signs and other areas within the park.
I know it's really early. Do you have any idea kind of like how many spaces we'll make available for the future for people in Norristown?
We're not. We haven't gotten that. This, again, this is the first of its kind. So there's not a plan to make spaces available, but the park is large enough that if someone wanted to do something, there's opportunity there or elsewhere.
Council, is there any other questions?
One more. We're dedicating the courts in his name. So, all right, educate me, because call me naive or not understanding. When you dedicate something, explain it, because I thought when you dedicate something, you kind of like, you're dedicating the court, so it's.
We're dedicating the basketball courts, yes.
Right.
Yeah, we're not renaming anything. It'll
Okay.
still stay Simmons Park. We're just dedicating the basketball courts.
Right. And there's going to be a tournament attached to it, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
All right, and with that, I will seek a motion to approve resolution number 25-74 for municipal council to authorize commemorative plaque at Simmons Park in memory of Robert Rob Hill. Is there a second? Madam Secretary, could I please have a roll call?
Justin Queenan?
I really wish we would have had this process down before we got here, because I'm just thinking about the greater good, because I don't want this to stall. I would even been, if we could have amended it a little bit until we figured out that process before the plaque goes into the ground. Because like you said, we don't even know how much space we're going to have or anything of that nature. I can't even ask questions at this time. So I'm thinking about you, but I'm also thinking about the other families behind you. So, and you don't deserve any of this, to be perfectly honest with you. That's, we dropped the ball. I'm thinking about you in my vote, and strictly you, not the process. Because the process, I think, should have been better to honor you and your son. And that's why I was trying to get it done, so we wouldn't have this here. So I couldn't imagine what it would be to lose a child and the pain. So what I'm going to hope and push for is that we get a resolution for the other families that might want to do something, and we handle it better. So I'm going to vote yes for you, but we got to do better as a council.
William McCoy?
Aye.
Dear Robinson?
Absolutely, yes.
Jasmine Griffin? Aye. Natalie Colson? Rebecca Smith?
Aye. The ayes have it. Resolution number 25-74 is approved. Resolution number 25-75, request for municipal council approval to amend resolution number 25-55 regarding appointments to boards, commissions, and committees.
Thank you, Madam President and council members. This council originally passed this resolution on July 15th to appoint Amber Kernew from the Norristown Planning Commission to be on the Blighted Property Review Committee. However, the Planning Commission subsequently requested that Alvina Hamme be appointed instead due to Ms. Kernew's availability and Ms. Hammon's willingness to serve. There's no application for Ms. Alvina. According to the ordinance, the Blighted Property Review Committee, when you look at the ordinance, the committee shall consist of the following members, and it's one member of the Norristown City Council, one representative from the Planning Commission, which is who she is representing, is the Planning Commission. So Ms. Hamme was selected per this requirement. She's also volunteered and was chosen by the Planning Commission, representing the second required member for the committee.
Council, any questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve resolution number 25-75 for council to amend resolution 25-55 regarding appointments to boards, commissions, and committees?
I do have one question, sorry. With the switch for this, would it be, does Alvina have to be sworn in? Is there another step?
No.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a motion to approve resolution number 25-75?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Councilwoman, or Madam Secretary, could I have a roll call?
Justin Queenan?
Aye.
William McCoy? Aye. Dear Robinson?
Aye.
Jasmine Griffin? Aye. Natalie Colson? Aye. Rebecca Smith?
Aye, the ayes have it. Resolution 25-75 is approved. Resolution 25-76, request for municipal council approval of minor construction and furnishings for additional workspaces in code, planning, and police departments for a total cost of $93,236.14.
Yes, Madam President and Council. So this resolution is to you tonight for under consideration to authorize $93,236.14 in the improvement to Municipal Hall to make Municipal Hall a actual one-stop shop for residents and businesses. The improvement project is relocating public works, permitting and inspections from the existing Public Works building to the Municipal Hall. The motivating factor behind this is access. The existing Public Works building is not ADA compliant. The result is that residents with mobility challenges have to climb stairs, and if they can't, in order to get a permit. Moving these services to Municipal Hall can eliminate the barriers so that the residents have unrestricted access to permitting services. It also is a concrete way that we can continue to take the steps to serve our community and our residents equitably. This is a fully budgeted in the 2025 capital budget. This did not come out of reserves or any other sources. It is a necessity, and it's not a budget amendment. This contract is being put through the co-stars to ensure that we get fair pricing per state procurement requirements. The $93,236 is a firm, not to exceed price in the vendor's contract. The vast majority of the money is going to construction. A small portion of the budget is for the furnishings and the IT regulations necessary to make the workstation functional. The timeline is roughly about 90 to 180 days, including design, construction time. It will have minimal impact on code, planning, or police. Services will continue to be available to the public while construction is ongoing. Regarding the services and improvement, this project is creating multiple new workstations for the staff. It is part of the plan of bringing permitting, inspection, code, and compliance staff in one space so that can work closely together, coordinate with each other, and it also will decrease the handoff and lead to faster permitting turnaround time and generally speed up the development services. The real added value is to the residents. It's having one location for a wide array of permitting and development and compliance services. It also reduces their wait time and eliminates having to go to multiple locations and overall increase the resident satisfaction. Again, this expansion isn't about staffing, it's more so about providing convenience and again, ADA compliance with the Public Works facility. As a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, I saw a gentleman walking up with crutches, trying to get up to the second story of the Public Works building. So again, we need to be in ADA compliance, and right now, our permitting for sidewalks is over at the Public Works building on the second floor. Again, not ADA compliant. So we're asking for you to approve this so that we can make our second floor, a municipal hall, a one-stop shop where all permits can be applied for, questions answered, and again, eliminate the hazard and the risk for residents going up second floor into the Public Works building.
Council, any questions? Councilwoman Colson, sorry, just going in the order of the hands that I saw. Councilwoman Colson.
What will happen with the Public Works building that they're using now?
The Public Works building will stay the same, and we looked at alternative sources, alternative solutions, but right now there's no first floor space at the Public Works building. As you know, they're all garages there. There's not enough space to retrofit there to make a first floor lobby for permitting to take place. So Public Works itself, the director, the rest of his team will be there, but anything dealing with permitting will be on the second floor of the Municipal Hall.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Robinson.
You can go.
My question was, I think that these are great steps to the ADA compliance. I also think that this was a very thorough presentation on your behalf. I feel like you highly anticipated a lot of questions that were coming your way, so kudos to you in that effort. I think even in your speaking, I was getting a lot of clarity. I have less reservation around the actual construction itself, what I think would be helpful to understand is in the phasing of this. Obviously, we're in a newly renovated space already, and so there's been work to this space in that. Some of that predates you and inherits, but I would love to understand in the course of the project, are we almost done? If we do this public works, is this a part of a phased plan? Do you anticipate any displacement of staff that's currently here with this? So just want to understand like how close to finished would this bring us, or do you anticipate that there's still further build outs that would need it? And then I have some additional questions after that.
This will help with, again, creating the one-stop shop. Will it complete construction? And probably not, because we still have in the capital plan to move public works from that location to a location at the state hospital. We also have fire that we're looking at a new fire facility. So there still needs to be some rearrangement done. Currently, we still have a lot of our records and supplies over in the storage facility, which we need to look at bringing that back so we're not paying for additional storage. So we do have quite a bit of work still ahead of us, but as we look at the new buildings, the new facilities that will house fire in the public works facility, and even the new, as we discussed about the recreation center, we need to keep these things in mind when we talk about space and we talk about storage. So the answer to your question is we're not completely there yet. And as the municipality grows, I'm sure we need to start planning where we do these builds, that we plan for the future and not for the moment.
Thank you. I think that's really good for expectation setting, so we can understand how much more can go into processes like this, as opposed to assuming we're at the finish line every time we do one more thing. So that's helpful for me to understand. It seems like there's been a lot of research done around it, and in all honesty, and I haven't had a chance to reach out to you in regards to this week. The only concerns that I have really came into the furnishings and to the price output on the furnishing and the furnishing costs. I will say that I'm still a little stuck there. There are some very expensive pieces here. Maybe you can help me understand did we get a quote based upon a reserve need? Are we replacing things that already exist? Like, are these things we're just buying new versions of?
It's all new because it's expansion.
Okay.
So, and the furniture that we have is all through one particular vendor. Mm-hmm. So we're utilizing the same vendor who's a local vendor. Mm-hmm. So we're still supporting that local vendor, as well as keeping the aesthetics and the decor of the current furniture that we have.
I'll leave it there for now. Thank you.
Okay.
Councilman Queenan.
How many people are we moving over from Public Works at this time?
Right now, it's one.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. So this is to move one person over, and that's, you said additional staff, but those additional staff members weren't mentioned yet? I saw in the packet.
It's the one inspector, but our hopes is we're still looking in the new budget to get another inspector for our right-of-way.
Okay.
So they'll need that space. Also, when we have that renovation, then, like I said before, we need to plan for the future. We can't plan for the moment. So when we're expanding, we might as well expand to make sure that we have, if they're doing it, that we have a couple of extra cubicles there, so in case we need to have support staff there.
Okay, so this is more, we're doing this for one person we're bringing over from Public Works and potentially the future.
Yes.
We might grow. But Public Works is eventually going to move up, that's probably going to be 10 years from now, but up into the state hospital.
Yes, the public works and the laborers, but you still want your one-stop shop, your permits to all be still here.
Right, they'll be where they're at right now. I did see one of the chairs were kind of, like, the chairs are kind of expensive, like $800 for, like, the chairs. That did catch my eye. I guess it was just two chairs we're buying? 'Cause that's what I saw.
Yes.
So for me, I just need more clarity. I hear what you're saying, but if we're bringing over one person, how many cubicles are we making?
We're adding two.
2 cubicles.
But we're pushing out the counter, leaving the one ADA accessible.
Right.
Pushing out the counters, so that way it leaves room for the future if we had to add additional.
Right. And that comes to a total of $93,000.
That's the construction plus the
Right.
furniture.
Okay. All right, that's all I had to ask.
Council, any other questions? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to approve resolution number 25-76.
I actually motion that we table this for further conversation. I don't know if that's allowed since the motion has already been introduced. I do feel like there's a bit of a lack of clarity and.
See if there's a second for the.
Sure.
I guess that's the process. If there's no second, then motion is tabled.
So is there a second to approve resolution 25-76? All right. Seeing none, Councilwoman Robinson, you'd like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion just to bring this back before council. Perhaps we can talk about it quickly or briefly in our small groups in the name of just continued transparency. I feel solid about the constructions. I'm a little just concerned about how it all plays in, and I would like to understand the greater whole of how it plays into the rest of the phasing. So that is my request. Council, I'll leave it to you to make a decision.
I'll second.
Madam Secretary, can I have a roll call?
Justin Queenan?
My vote is yes to table it, because not only just that, if we have like a presentation during a workshop, we can go into more details, because I feel like I don't know that much about this project. I hear you, but I, like a little bit more information. So I'm a yes for tabling.
Ray McCoy? Adira Robinson?
Aye.
Jasmine Griffin?
Aye.
Natalie Colson? Rebecca Smith?
No. So the ayes have it, that resolution has been tabled. We'll come back to it at some point. On to Public Works, resolution number 25-66, winter maintenance services agreement between Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Department of Transportation and the Municipality of Norristown. Mr. Odenabo.
President Council, we've actually been having this kind of agreement with PennDOT. And the main reason is to allow us to do standardized control in the state roads that are in Norristown. Just for the council to know, Johnson Highway is a state route. Forest, Johnson Highway from New Hope all the way to Markley. The curb is a state route, starting from a corporation limit with Bridgeport all the way to Johnson Highway. Then Forest is a state route, and the Airy Street is a state route from Arch, going all the way to Furness. So what this is all about is PennDOT is actually asking us that if we take up the responsibility of doing standardized control on these state routes, then they will pay us, over a 10-year period, they will pay us a total of $198,558.16. So this is something we've been doing with them.
Council, any questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve resolution 25-66?
So moved.
Madam Secretary, can I have a roll call, please?
Justin Queenan?
Aye.
Ray McCoy? Adira Robinson? Jasmine Griffin? Natalie Colson? Rebecca Smith?
Aye, the ayes have it. Resolution 25-66 is approved. Resolution number 25-71, council to approve the contract awarded to Corbo Landscaping in the amount of $192,000 for tree pruning and removal of dead trees, weight reduction along Main Street, Marshall Street, and DeKalb Street.
This is part of beautification of our business corridors, Main Street, DeKalb, and Marshall. And this is a coastal price. What we are doing is having a company, a Corbo, to actually trim the trees and remove the dead ones on Main Street, DeKalb, and Marshall, all trees. This would cost the city $192,000. But this is actually to prune, remove dead trees and on these business corridors. And it's part of the education of our business corridors.
Thank you. Council, any questions?
And one other thing I need to say, this is funded from the APRA fund.
Council, any questions?
Yes, I do.
Councilman?
The trees on the street, do they belong to the owners of the buildings? Are they responsible for those? Because like when homeowners have a tree out front of their house, they're responsible for those trees.
And that's a question that the city policy is that the homeowner maintains what's in his property from the curb line, from his property to the curb line. But I think that because this is a special project and this presentation was made by the administrator that this money will be used for this purpose. So we are just implementing what the council has approved already.
Because I saw some of those trees, as big as they are, were on some people's personal property. Because I got people in my district that got to get rid of some of them trees. They don't got the money for it. So, I mean, I would love to look into this further, not just do it just strictly for businesses, if we could find money to do for our residents as well. Because, you know, I'm cheap. I'm like, let them leaves fall, let's cut them branches instead of prune them. It was almost fall coming out here. I don't know if that would save us city money. But that's what I really want to know is if they own them, did we approach them to see if they could pitch in any money, help reduce it, or something of that nature? Because I get calls from my constituents who have to pay $5,000 to remove a tree, and that's expensive for a private homeowner versus a business that's making money.
I think this is part of the education of Norristown, and that's this council has actually approved this funding. So this is just the implementation of the operation.
And question for, have we done this in the past where we paid to prune these trees? Because who prunes them now?
Right now, it's supposed to be done by the homeowner, but the fact is that they are not doing it.
Okay. All right.
They are not doing it.
And just from my past experience on that council, what made you want to go through co-stars? Because I remember in the past, we kind of stopped using them because we heard they were more expensive sometimes than not going through co-stars.
There are unique projects that no matter how you describe it, it's going to really be difficult to compete for. And that's why we went to co-stars, to be able to make sure that, it's going to be almost impossible to look at this tree and say, this must be removed. So most times when a project gets to a situation that is so difficult to describe in the spec, the correct solution is to go to co-star. And one other thing that this company is a local company that we've been working with, and as a matter of fact, we've done a lot of things with them, and they are very generous.
Right. I know, I see them. I know Corbo, but I know we got a lot of landscapers in Norristown. We can get some taxes back on that. But okay, I appreciate you.
Council, any other questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve Resolution 25-71?
Motion.
Madam Secretary, could I have a roll call, please?
Justin Queenan?
I'm going to say no.
William McCoy? Aye. Adira Robinson?
Aye.
Jasmine Griffin?
No.
Natalie Colson?
Aye.
And Rebecca Smith?
Aye, the ayes have it. Resolution number 25-71 is approved. Resolution 25-72, council to approve an award in the amount of $463,500 to R. Smith Paving Contractors, no relation, for the paving and stamping of intersections on Main Street.
Yeah, this is again part of the education of Main Street. And this is going to involve stamping all the intersections of the business area, starting from Walnut, going all the way to the Meadows. The only intersection that will not be involved is Sweet. But this would actually, what this would involve is actually stamping these sections of Main Street, these corridors of Main Street, the intersections, and it's just part of the beautification of Main Street. and this is Costa again.
Council, any questions? Councilwoman Griffin?
I had a question. I know we heard a public comment tonight from, what was it, Melvin? Faust, okay. About, believe it was what, Erie, does anyone recall what the intersection? Erie and Selma, thank you. And I just want to know, is Erie and Selma like under us? Because could that be included to be stamped?
The gentleman that spoke, Erie and Hamilton, is city-owned intersection.
That's the only one?
Yeah, but this is not part, it's not part of this project. This is just on Main Street.
So if that, I just want to ask this, if that was where, because he was talking about like a crosswalk and things like that, would that have to be like coming from somewhere separate for that to be done?
I'm going to look at that area.
You took that look, okay.
In fact, I wrote it down. I'm going to inspect that tomorrow.
Okay.
And then I'm going to be making a recommendation of what we need to do.
Okay.
But right now we are paving, we just have limited people.
Okay.
So we're paving alleys.
Okay.
So striping is something we are hoping to do when we finish paving alleys.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilman Queenan, you had a question?
Yes. I mean, I see it. Do we have any pictures what it might look like, or?
We actually presented pictures
Right.
in the write-up of what they look like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because, so, I see Norristown Beautification Project that this has on there. And I always feel like I'm missing something. Did we go into detail about this Norristown Beautification Project, Council?
We approved it at our December 2nd,
I'm not
our
saying-
work session of December.
Not saying we approved, but did we go into detail, like what the totality, what the end result's supposed to be that we're trying to achieve? I see the name, I hear the name, but I feel like I'm missing something.
Sometime in December, just to remind the council had approved 1.4 million
Right.
for beautification of the business corridors. And out of the 1.4 million, 300,000 was supposed to go to the Chamber of Commerce for what they are doing, the cleaning work they are doing on Main Street. So what's left for us to use in beautification of Main Street is 1.1 million. So this is part of the 1.1 million that we are trying to use to beautify Main Street. And there are many other things that we could do on Main Street, but we are limited by funds.
Right.
So we chose what could actually give it the look of beautification, taking care of the signs, wrapping what's there, then doing the intersections, and then cutting the trees. And then that would exhaust the 1.1 million. And then.
So, okay. And I guess after the next one, there'll be some money left over, correct?
Say it again.
After this resolution, we're moving on to the next resolution. There'll be still some money left over for different projects you want to do?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I would just love, like, maybe in a workshop, we could see the end result, what we're trying to do, like, from the beginning to end. And I feel like I'm getting pieces, but I appreciate you.
Yeah. I will send the pictures, and even we took a picture of a demonstration that was done, and it was sent to in this write-up. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate you.
Council, any other questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve Resolution 25-72?
Motion.
Madam Secretary, could I please have a roll call?
Liston Queenan. William McCoy. Nadira Robinson. Jasmine Griffin. Natalie Colson. Rebecca Smith.
Aye, the ayes have it. Resolution 25-72 is approved. Resolution number 25-73, request of council to approve a contract awarded to Signarama Monco in the amount of $398,853.08 for work that will include replacement and installation of signs, street IDs, wrapping of big belly cans, traffic signal boxes, painting of streetlight poles, and other miscellaneous.
Yeah, this is actually what I call cleanup of Main Street. This will involve looking at all the signs and removing them. There are many signs in Main Street that do not really meet standards. Again, not actually meeting standards. The aesthetics is horrible. Some of them are bending, So we're going to replace all these signs with new signs. And then we have a unique street ID that we'll be using. Then we'll be wrapping all the boxes of Main Street, which include traffic boxes, traffic signal boxes, and then the big bellies, and painting the street lights of Main Street. So this is what's all about. So this will actually clean up Main Street. I'm very excited about this, to tell the council.
Thank you, Councilwoman Coulson.
I just have a question. With the replacement of the signs, if they are in the wrong, if they're, misplaced or in the wrong spot when you're putting the new ones up, will you also move the location of them? I know that, like, a stop sign was brought to my attention, just stuff like that. When we're replacing the signs, if they need to be moved, is that going to be looked at as well?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going to work closely with them. So there are certain signs that will be taken off because they've been very obsolete.
Okay.
Then there are some signs that are there that should not be there. Part of this is removing those signs too.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
perfect, okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Councilman Queenan.
Beverly cans and like the traffic signal boxes and things of that nature, like the
And that's something, anything the council wants. But what we're trying to do is actually to look for things that are unique to Norristown.
Okay.
To use it in wrapping the big belly cans.
Okay.
But if there are ideas that the council has about this, it's something that I would be very willing to welcome, and it's not going to change the price.
All right. One thing I saw was unique in here. I didn't know Signarama, they paint the light poles, street
Yeah,
light.
but they are a painting company. That's what they do.
I had no clue.
Yeah,
I thought they're strictly signs.
yeah.
All right.
I have one question. I think all of this will look very beautiful when it's done. And my question is just timeline. When can we expect to see some of this completed?
As a matter of fact, if the council approves this tonight, I'm going to have a meeting with them tomorrow. But the intention is to get this done before the end of the year, or maximum early part of next year. Yeah.
Thank you.
And just to let the council know, Corbo has already started trimming trees on Main Street.
Any other questions, council? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve resolution number 25-73?
So move.
Motion. Is there a second? Madam Secretary, could I please have a roll call?
Dustin Queenan.
Aye.
William McCoy.
Aye.
Indira Robinson. Jasmine Griffin. Natalie Coulson. Rebecca Smith.
Aye, the ayes have it. Resolution number 25-73 is approved.
Thank you, council.
I think you're going to stay right where you are, because up next we have departmental reports from Public Works.
I'm going to be talking to council on what we are doing, and we are cleaning the streets. And I really think that if you drive around, you can see that we have been working very hard on this, because the administrator approved that we have 6 stems and those 6 stems that came in, we are using them to clean streets. The problem we have is even recruiting them. We could only get 4, and those 4 people are dedicated. There's nothing else they do other than picking trash all over our streets and then the alleys. So this has been going very well. And we have been meeting our daily schedule on street sweeping. The only problem we are having on street sweeping right now is that people do not move their vehicles. Even though that they are given the tickets, there are some people. Yeah, people do not move their vehicles during this street sweeping, and it's becoming more common. And as a matter of fact, when they are given tickets, some of them are ready to pay for the tickets instead of moving their vehicles. So that's one serious problem that we're having in street sweeping. So we've been doing that very well. We've actually been cleaning all the parks. If you go to the parks right now, you see how clean they are. We'll be meeting all schedule, because what we usually do is that every week we come up with what they give me a program of what they are going to be doing for the week. We look at that productivity and make sure that we keep, so we've been working very well in that. It's been working out, we just started paving. The intention is to pave 12 alleys in this community, and we've started paving some of these alleys. We have paved our 5 alleys right now. We probably still have about 8 more to go, and so that's going on well. I need to equally let the council know that we're going to have another, what we call the citywide sweep, and that's going to be this fall again. The last one for the year. We are getting ready for it, working with Mascaro. We're going to be putting 16 dumpsters in 9 locations in this community. And one thing about it is that the community, the residents really like this program, because people are already calling to know when the next citywide sweep is going to be done. We are going to be, we are readying ourselves again for leaf collection. And the intention is to start leaf collection by the 3rd week in October. So during the 3rd week in October, we are going to be starting leaf collection in Norristown. We've been patching potholes in this community. As a matter of fact, we have patched, in the last 1 month, we have patched 1,011 potholes. There are a lot of potholes all over, the alleys and all the rest. If you drive on Swede, there has been some base failure issues, and the public works when they came up with a design, and we took care of it. And there's a second one, but the water company is working there, so probably when they finish what they are doing there, they will give us a free paving. And we have, in the last 1 month, actually, there was something happened, so it became difficult to separate one and the other. But in the last 2 months, the right of way has actually issued 158 permits, and we've collected a sum of 115,000, 116,000, and all these have been inspected, or most of them have been inspected, and that's all that I have.
Thank you. Council, any questions?
Appreciate you, Thomas, all the hard work you do for us.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you. And next we have building and code.
Building and code, yes. You're going to have Miss Judy Richards, who's going to be presenting. She's joined us. She's been here 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
This is the 4th week.
So Keith couldn't make it tonight, so she's going to present on his behalf.
Welcome, Ms. Richards.
Thank you very much. Good evening, council. The report that Keith asked me to provide for you is the team conducted 257 rental inspections, 342 property transfer inspections. They issued 1,006 permits, 1,786 quick ticket violations, 1,981 code violation notices. We did 117 assisted other agencies and departments. The breakdown for that is we helped the county 5 times, the police department 15, public works 20, fire department 30, planning and zoning 47. We participated in 3 community outreach events. We have 4 new staff members, 1 assistant department manager, which is me, and we have 3 new code compliance inspectors. Staff has completed 84 hours of training. 3 staff members have obtained their 2021 International Code Council Property Maintenance Code certifications and FEMA certifications. And that is it. Any questions?
You guys been busy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Council, any questions?
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All in favor? Aye.